Nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. Today I'm taking you thrifting along with me at Goodwill. So let's go ahead and check it out and let's see what Goodwill had in the store today. I thought this was kind of interesting that it said popcorn on it and it had a handle. I guess you would go ahead and use this in the microwave. I don't actually have a microwave, so I didn't have any use for that. These I thought were really fun. I never see the clear glass mugs and I love them. I have one set of floral ones and these are actually false graph in the Yorktown pattern. I was gonna snag them up and unfortunately I did see a few little hairline cracks in them, so I just passed on those. These cowboy boots are always really cute. I've actually resold a few of these in the past. I was considering picking that up to resell. So these were pretty neat to see on the shelf. I've never found any Blendo at the thrift store. I've seen them in antique malls. These were put out by Libby. You can see the little cursive L at the bottom. The gold rim did have some wear to it, and there was some scratching throughout the Blendo glasses, so I decided to pass on them. Blendo's not really selling for a whole lot of money anyway, so I don't think it was too hard of a pass, but it was really neat to see them. They did have these really gorgeous blue and white grape pattern glasses. These were put out by Hazel Atlas. They were asking $10 for this set here, and I did look up some comps on those. They weren't really well sought after, and the ones that were listed and being sold weren't selling for much, so another pass. And glasses I don't like to keep around. They tend to be something that you have to kind of hang on to for a while. And this was a really well done sampler piece. I did find this home interiors mirror. It's kind of in this Aztec pattern, kind of tribal looking, pretty neat. They had some really nicely done illustrations here of some kitty cats. So this one was probably the better one. They were asking $6 a piece for them. This one looked a little bit incomplete. It was just kind of the head up in the corner awkwardly. There was a date on the bottom as well, so it almost looked like it was a print on that one. The other one I thought was actually hand penciled in. I probably would have snagged this. I love the color to this, but you can see it has a huge chip at the bottom. I do believe this would originally have had a lid as well, but I passed on that because of the chip. Otherwise, it would have went home with me. Of course, now that Christmas is over, I was finding some cute things. This was put out by the Tampa Bay Mold Company, so someone would have hand painted this. And I've actually never seen any Tampa Bay molds, so it was pretty neat. It seems like the wreaths are kind of their main theme, but yeah, $3 a piece for those. So I really adored the looks of this little owl family figurine here, and it was unglazed, so I tend to find when it's more of a bisque material, it does carry the dust a lot more and it's really difficult to clean. And I find that people tend to like to buy the glazed figurines as opposed to the bisque ones, so I don't often pick them up unless they're really unique. They have this random bag of cat figurines. Again, they appear to be more bisque, and these are probably from the 1980s. That heart one might be from the 70s, but you see the pink and blue usually screams 1980s to me. And yeah, so $3 for the bag, not bad if you're into kitty cats. So my eyes lit up when I saw these fruit salt and pepper shakers. Unfortunately, there was no plugs in it. They were made in China, so I decided to pass on them, but I love the size to them, and I do decorate my kitchen in this manner, so it was kind of difficult to walk away from, but I knew I wouldn't probably end up using them. I did find another bag of knickknacks, and I went to go check it out. I was like, oh, Christmas ones, but then I saw it was a bag filled with mice ornaments, so I was all set on that. You guys know how I feel about mice. And yeah, I was just kind of glancing through here. I spied this little teddy bear back to in the back. Someone put baby in the corner back here. And so I turned him around, and then after I saw his face, I was like, oh, that's why. He's kind of creepy. So someone was getting creeped out walking by him and was just like, oh, I'm going to turn him right around. So, wah! A little ways down, I saw another little teddy bear ear sticking out the back. I assumed it probably came from the same home as the last one, so I had to check him out. And it was just this kind of sad bear. So I don't know. I'm not into buying depressing looking animals, so I did not take him with me either. So this was a very interesting piece. I was trying to figure out exactly what it was. It could very well just be a vase. It seemed like it might have had a lid to it originally. I love the florals on it. They appear to be daylilies, and I love to grow daylilies. But it was super wobbly. It didn't matter how I set it down. It just like kept wobbling pretty bad. So I figured that probably wasn't the best feature to get something like that. But it was really pretty. This kind of had a neat design to it. I think it was more of a flashed on painted glass, and I don't really care for that. So this was a really neat find. It's the C.S. Lewis Chronicles of Narnia box set, and they did have it duct taped back together, the box that was holding it, but it was still really cool. They're only asking $6 for it, and I don't know, I just thought it was a really neat find. So we're a week into the new year. If you've made resolutions, here's your friendly reminder to go do it now. Stop giving up on it. Let me know in the comments what your goals are for this year. I always enjoy reading everyone's resolutions. It's fun. You guys know I am a sucker for tins. This one did appear to be on the newer side, but I love the imagery of it with the kind of dimensional Girl Scout troops here, the older, I guess, scout leaders, I guess you would call them. It was put out in 2017. I was very tempted to get it. It had a pretty gnarly dent on one side of it, and the hinges were no longer intact, but I still was kind of contemplating it. I love the cool camping vibe it had. They had a pretty large collection of these Harley Quinn romance novels, and I think they're asking 95 cents a piece for them. Not really my niche of reading, but they're kind of fun to just glance at real quick. This book grabbed my attention because I do tend to pick up the vintage children books, and I actually had a similar resemblance of the best in children's books, which I am trying to collect. I have several in the series, but yeah, the cover definitely looked very much like that. But this appears to be a different series because this says it is book 3, so I'll have to look into that and see exactly what that series is. I'm happy they're starting to build up a vintage book shelf again. They used to have quite a large one before they did the renovations, and I have missed that, so they're starting to get them back in and building that up. So this is a perfect case of when you can take the book sleeve off and the inside of the book is more gorgeous than leaving the sleeve on. So if I was to purchase this, I would definitely just display it with a hardcover. It's so beautiful on the inside. This was a pretty amazing General Electric food processor. It was a really large size. I don't think I have a use for something quite that big. I have a smaller food processor. I don't tend to, need it for that. If I need something that big, I usually just toss it in my blender. But I was tempted to get this. Really cool. You guys have to let me know if you ever used this specific one before and how it works. I was wondering what you would put inside this Holy Bible. I don't know if it was a planter or just a holder to put your Bible in. All of my Bibles are much bigger than what would fit in there, so I didn't end up getting it, but it was kind of an interesting piece. This was a beautiful plate. I kind of wanted to get this just to put one on my wall for part of a plate wall, but I decided to pass on it because it was part of the set. I got excited when I saw this box full of dishes. These were absolutely stunning, very 1970s and up my alley. I was super disappointed when I saw how much scratching was in it. A couple had some chips on it. These are the butterscotch drip pattern put out by Canonsburg Pottery Company. So stunning. I absolutely love the color and look to these. I did check over several pieces. They were asking $20 for the full set, so I figured it was probably still worth it if I could find some pieces that were in decent condition to get the whole box for 20, but I don't know. It's a lot to take on when a lot of it is damaged. This was a nice piece. It had a specific date on it. Otherwise, I probably would have got it, but finding someone that wanted something 1978 specifically is a little challenging. Had an adorable look to it and only $3. Maybe people wouldn't have minded too much, but everyone that likes the transferware, I think they probably would have enjoyed that piece as well. I wanted to check out what this was. It looked like a vintage game. Is it Parcheesi, I think? I'm not certain, but I think that's what it is. And I think there is... No, it's not checkers. What is that? Is that backgammon on the other side? It looked like it was well loved anyways. I eventually made my way over to the cookbooks. I found the Pioneer Woman cookbook. I have her one that is like all of the holidays through the seasons. I did not have this one. They were asking $8 for it, which I normally probably wouldn't pay that much for it at a thrift store, but I knew if I bought it new, it obviously would cost more than that. And I was using my birthday discount code this day. I was getting 30% off my entire order, so I figured I could maybe splurge a little bit and it wouldn't be too bad. I was able to find a few vintage cookbooks. These two are Betty Crocker. I had the Good and Easy one. I actually might have two copies of that. Now, I don't believe I have this one here, the Bisquick Cookbook, but after looking at it a little bit closer, it had some damage to the cover, and I felt like I could get a better deal elsewhere, with a better condition one, so I was just going to hold off and wait for that. But I still like to glance through the pages to see if there's any like handwritten recipes or anything stuck in there, so sometimes they'll convince me to buy them too. I also found this one here, and I swear I already have the same cookbook, but it's a red color, and I wasn't certain if it was the same exact recipe book, but just in a different color, or if there were new recipes in it, so that one was kind of confusing to me. This is the one I actually already had at home. It was ABC of Barbecue, so it was different. It did have some red in it, but it was red and green, and the other one was salad, so it must be a whole series. I was checking out the linen section where they normally keep like the sheets and curtains. I thought this might be a curtain, so I got excited, but for some reason it's actually just some kind of a costume, and it was just kind of a weird piece. I was a little disappointed there. This again is a really nice piece of fabric. It has that like transfer wear look, and it's really nice. It doesn't really go with my stuff. It was just kind of a valance, I believe, but I do enjoy looking at that. This was an exciting find. It's a vintage 70s little owl pot holder. It does have a little magnet on the inside. You can kind of see it there. I found it eventually, and they were only asking $1 for it. It's a little on the small side, so I probably would just use it as like a hot pad, but more so for decor on my fridge, I think. It's just really cute. My new obsession with baskets, so I just had to check these out. This longer one on the bottom, I'm not exactly sure how I would use it other than if I was doing some cut flowers, and it would just kind of be a harvest basket for that, just to carry them inside so they don't get crushed weird. But I don't know if I could really do like a display with them or not. What would you guys use that size of a basket for? This was kind of a nice wooden decor piece. I was trying to read the original label on the bottom. It was all tore up, so it was hard to kind of make out, but it had a really neat look to it. And then I spied this vintage floral wall decor piece. I love that it had two different pictures kind of framed out within the same frame. It's kind of an interesting way to do it. Kind of unique, really. You don't really see that too often, so I like how narrow it was too. It can kind of fill in those oddball walls that we have right in our houses that we don't quite know what to do with, so it's a really nice size. I completely missed this wooden bellow down below on that shelf. You can just see it real briefly. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoy looking at the wooden section, because this is where I tend to find the more antique items at the thrift store. They usually are kind of, rough shape, a little damaged like this, so I think they don't really care too much about pricing it too high. But I'm kind of bummed I completely missed that bellow. Would have liked to at least checked it out and see if it wasn't broken. I definitely probably would have grabbed that as well. So here I am checking out the little golden books. I tend to try to just get the more vintage ones. They had a lot of modern ones here today, but I did find a few older ones and some that my children would be into. So this stack was kind of the newer ones, and then I got into the older ones here in a second. I did find this copy of The Three Bears. This is probably the oldest one I was able to find today. This was put out in 1976, this edition. And, you know, it's not a little golden book unless there's some stickers and some scribbles in it, right? Well, that's going to do it for my thrift along with me at Goodwill today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what item you would have picked up. And make sure you are subscribed so you can catch the thrift haul of everything I picked up today in tomorrow's video. And we will see you in the next one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.